No, it's not that. Look, the truth is, as the fight's gone closer, yeah, my anticipation's gone up a little bit. Canelo Alvarez is about to box Terence Crawford. Two of the great fighters I've had the pleasure of covering are about to meet. Yeah, I'm looking forward to them sharing the ring and seeing what plays out. But the journalist in me feels like I'd be remiss. Forget just the journalist, just me feels like I'd be remiss to pretend that's the story. No, it's not. You could really look at it as the ultimate Trojan horse for Ari Emanuel, TKO, who is being sued twice for hundreds of millions of dollars for their business practices in the UFC, are trying to institute the same business practices in boxing. But in order to do it first, Turkey's got to use Ari, and Ari's got to use Ari's using Turkey's money, and Turkey's using Ari's political connections because they're like this with the Trump administration. Whatever, it doesn't matter because Ari's brother worked for Obama. He's been a high-ranking Democrat politician, so he's got people in both aisles. They're repealing this. The irony of Canelo Crawford is that they're being used to institute a future program of boxing that may ensure you don't get another Canelo Crawford in the sense of two fighters who command so much freedom in their careers that they eventually can use all these bidders and drive the price up for a fight that can make them tons of money. And there's actually a lot of hardcore boxing fans go, who gives a shit? I don't eat off what Canelo and Crawford eat off of. I just want boxing to be a coherent thing again, which it hasn't been for too long. I get it, but I don't know. To get super deep with it, like sometimes these countries, they'll have these problems and people grow very pissed off at the government, and so they overthrow the government, and then sometimes what replaces it is even more tyrannical than what preceded it. And I think boxing should be aware of that. But it is what it is. That's all the thoughts about that kind of stuff are overriding my excitement for the fight. I am excited to see the fight.
What do you think is going to happen to, like, let's say he gets this law passed? I don't think Bob Arum is going to pack it up. I mean,
Bob is 94 years old.
Yeah, but you got Todd the Buff, though. It's still an empire,
I don't know if Todd is the mind that Bob is. I don't know.
Cool, but are we on the same page that the company would continue? Or you think, no, after Bob, it's done?
Bob isn't going to... He's with everything he's built. He's gonna give
the Patriots. They play this morning, right? They still exist. Are they what they were with Brady and Belichick?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Two main players.
But, okay.
Bob Arum's the main player of
But there's still a great infrastructure, is there not? Like with the Brad Goodman and
yeah. No, they got capable people there.
Jacobs. They have like.
He prepared those guys.
Yeah,
those kids. Yeah, but all that young talent they've got. Arum pass, Arum, there was Wood, so Arum passes, and within a few years ago, they could just wind up being, TKO becomes the dominant force they want to be. All those kids will just have to wind up fighting for TKO at some point.
What would you rather, TKO or MVP?
I actually think sometimes I look at them like they're in cahoots together.
What?
Because they're supposed to hate each other, but they were
like this.
The night Trump got elected, they're hanging out to the left and to the right.
That's my guy.
I get it, but it's like
you got to be at a party.
I used to wonder, why is Jake amassing all the female talent if women's boxing, Taylor and Serrano sold the place out. They did their thing, but
traditionally it doesn't make money. But again, look at Clarissa though. She's selling 15,000.
Right. Well, but on her own. Shout out to the GWOAT. By the way, Terence Crawford loses this fight to Canelo. Clarissa Shields is the greatest American fighter post Floyd Mayweather. But which is kind of
fun fact.
Yeah. And I'm poking at the guys a little bit, like do better, do but.
And then at the same time, the new sport of boxing is not giving us the fights we want.
No, I know.
So what do you want? What do you want?
Well, I think the best case I'm
just trying to figure out what he wants.
No, you're right. I hear you. I know. I think the best case scenario is that TKO can turn boxing in America into a well-oiled machine, like the UFC is. But these three-letter conglomerates, the UFC, NFL, NBA, boxing has always had a different allure to it than they have. It's called the red light district of sport. It's part of why I say everything I say in this sport, and when I cover the NFL, I don't say shit. Because part of the beauty of boxing being the Wild West and having these unsavory characters is so real. Boxing's so real in microcosm.
How do you get structure amongst...
I hear you, but...
a band of thieves.
Well, then the sad narrative is that human beings, when they're left with their own freedom, apparently can't act right. They always need some dictator to come in. Is that what we're proving in boxing? That left to our own devices, we can't run this shit? The media won't check who needs to be checked appropriate. Promoters won't work with each other. Fighters won't fight for what they're actually worth sometimes. Okay, well then you're about to get something a lot different. Now you've got to fight for this much money when I say so. That's what I think might be coming to boxing.
I just don't see what happens to the other players. Like, why would Dimitri Salidas stop promoting? Why would DAZN stop giving television dates to a Top Rank and a Matchroom and a Queensberry? Like, I can't see.
Oh, they put their hands up.
I can't see TKO taking over. Eddie's company is handed down from Barry Hearns. Like, he's not just gonna pack it up because UFC's here.
They've already hurt themselves by selling out to Turkey. They've hurt their long-term foundations for short-term gain. That's why, that's how I look at it.
Remember, the Eddie and AJ have shares in DAZN, and all they did was bring in a player to buy more shares in DAZN. Like, their ultimate goal is DAZN.
Yeah, I hear you.
So Eddie ain't going nowhere from DAZN. Not only do we have shares, but his business has been, that's his network at this point. I don't know. I think they're gonna be around. I don't see TKO taking over boxing anytime soon. I mean, I'm not a UFC guy. Don't watch any UFC, but it took them a long time to get to this point. Like, I remember Bellator and Strikeforce and things like that. And Strikeforce did better in my eyes as a dude that's never watched MMA. I watched Strikeforce because it came on right after boxing. So I just left it on. I left it on. So I know Gina Carano and I know Cyborg because I left it on. But I don't know, man. I just can't see them taking over.
I could see them taking over. I just think the downside would be like, and we've already ever since HBO left, and Showtime did their thing too, but HBO let boxing be this highbrow thing, this Broadway play. Jim Lampley treated the audience like they were intelligent adults. And already since HBO left, we've lost some of that. And I think if TKO takes control, it'll be like the NFL and the NBA. It'll be sell, very corporate. It'll make a lot of money. It'll be a well-oiled machine, but boxing will lose some of its soul.
Is it coming back with this new regime, though? They're gonna, it's called, I think, Fight Sports Max app. It's in beta testing now in Singapore and Philippines, but eventually it's gonna be here in America to do the Mayweather-Tyson fight. But that's the old HBO figureheads, and then you got John Skipper. You don't think that are they just gonna quit? They're obviously trying to get invested in the American market. Are they going to say, well, damn, here goes TKO, let's just leave? I don't see it.
Right. Yeah. I think there's going to be multiple lanes. I think that the lanes have been blurred. Thank you. The lanes have just always been blurred. I think, if anything, what TKO hopes to do is bring a little more structure to what they're doing, which, like, again, the lanes won't be as blurred right there as it pertains to TKO.
At the same time, I feel what Sean's saying. I don't want the money to get affected.
The money?
Yeah, I want the boxers to make top dollar, not fucking UFC pay.
It just looks like boxing fell into the opposite evil, other side of the pendulum. Who can overpay them the most? And then UFC is the opposite evil. Can we just get somewhere in the middle where you make what you deserve?
We need a market correction, though, Sean. We need a market correction. Like, what happened was Al Heyman came into the game with $500,000. Then what followed is Eddie Hearn with $1 billion.
Leonard Blavatnik's money, Al Heyman with
and
the Von Ellen Reed money.
And then what followed is the endless amount of money of Riyadh season. So the value of a home, quote-unquote, fighter kept going up. We need a market correction. Yeah. I hope I don't know about the rumors of, maybe y'all know more than me, but if they go on the Stars and they're really only getting $1 million per show, amen. We gotta correct it. Dudes think they deserve $5 million to fight tune-ups, man. No, we not paying for that. We fire sticking that shit, and until these executives understand it, you gonna keep losing money. We fire sticking.